weeks ago without even a token of defense. They're raging through the houses and communities, even affecting some of the wealthiest and most powerful individuals in our country, some of whom are sitting here right now. They don't have a home any longer.
Do you owe citizens an apology for being absent while their homes were burning? Do you regret cutting the fire department budget by millions of dollars, Madam Mayor? Have you nothing to say today?
They're doing it again. More fires have popped up in California. And listen, if you think these are all coincidences, then you are an absolute lunatic. Now let's break down the facts about these fires. Let's start off with the mayor, Karen Bass. She was away on vacation when the fire started, coincidentally, just like the governor in Maui. But not only that, she also pulled $49 million from the Los Angeles Fire Department, just before the crisis hit. And this is a pattern that I'm starting to see all over the world, not just here in California. Similar things also happened, as I said, in Maui, Greece, Portugal, and Spain. Now let's get onto the real culprits, the direct energy weapons, also known as DEWs. There's been videos all over Cali showing green lasers just before the fires. Also, just before the fires, we had heavy chemtrails all over our skies. What are chemtrails made out of? Aluminium and barium, which are both extremely flammable. So, what happens when you combine arsonists, direct energy weapons, and HARPs? Exactly what we've seen in California. Next, let's talk about the empty hydrants that were in Palisades. We pay all this tax money. California is the highest paying tax state in America, and we can't get hydrants filled with water for emergencies? This is absolutely insane. Is it a coincidence that all the insurance companies pulled out, especially in Palisades, just before the fires?
Insurance policies for residents in many of the same areas in the path of the Southern California wildfires. The insurance company's reasoning for canceling policies for people living in Pacific Palisades in Los Angeles County was due to concerns about the increased frequency and magnitude of wildfires in the state.
And what are all these images of all these blue objects and blue houses that never burn? That, ladies and gentlemen, is connected to DEW.
And really all we're talking about is the cost of the energy that you need to fire the laser weapon. Obviously, once you've got the system in place in the first place. And that compares very favorably with missiles, which might be thousands or tens of thousands or even more per single shot.
I mean, hardly no burnt marks, no ashes.
Reed says she got an evacuation alert on her phone last Tuesday, and some of the windows are cracked and...
Looks like it's got some fractural cracks from this heat.
And while their home is standing, they say it's hardly home without those they love.
It's just sad that this had to happen to this neighborhood.
Another question I have for our government here in Cali, why do we have so many eucalyptus trees?
He says what's often the biggest danger is not what's high up in the tree.
You'll notice the higher you get up, there's less bark that's on it.
It's the bark that sloughs off and lands on the ground that acts as both kindling and a ladder fuel to send flames up into the canopy, at the same time becoming embers that are picked up by the wind.
Now, I know what's happened recently is all planned, and I'll explain to you as we get deeper into the fires, but the eucalyptus trees are another example. Why are we not planting trees that are not flammable? Instead, eucalyptus is extremely flammable.
Eucalyptus were brought here because they grew fast and spread quickly. It seemed like a good idea at the time, but Marin County is now dealing with a problem that took root more than a century ago.
Which again connects to the DEW and the HARPs and the chemtrails. With 2026, the World Cup, and 2028, the Olympics coming closer, did Gavin Newsom need more space? Did he need more funding? Because the wildfires are projected to cost over $100 billion in damages. So that's more money for investment, and also now we have more space. And if you look at interviews of Gavin Newsom talking about rebuilding LA, it's pretty evident to see that he's enjoying every second of this.
Fire disaster relief funding to go forward on its own as quickly as possible?
100%, yeah. Unlike what's happening in the federal government where they're trying to condition the debt ceiling, to disaster recovery for Americans in the state of California. We'll never condition any of that.
Here in LA, they've been talking about these billion-dollar investments, building smart 15-minute cities all over the state. And with all these fires that have happened recently, I'm pretty sure that's the next step.
Los Angeles, technology is fundamental to how we function in managing traffic, planning our communities, engaging our constituencies, and protecting our residents. Through the coordination of both existing and emerging smart city technologies, we are positioned to transform the way we live, work, and move around LA.
And smart cities are also connected to the whole agenda of them pushing, don't own nothing and be happy. Is it also strange that a family, the Resnick family, own 60% of the water reserves here in California?
While 40 million Californians suffer through unprecedented drought, one billionaire couple owns a massive share of the state's water system, seized in a series of secretive meetings 2 decades ago. That system was largely paid for by the very taxpayers whose water these billionaires hold hostage.
And on that subject, I actually mentioned this to my cousin the other day. Water is the new big business, I'm telling you. Going forward, the price of water, even non-quality water, will definitely go up.
Commence primary ignition.
And you know, the elite always love to program us into what's going to happen into the future. Movies like James Bond and Star Wars have even hinted at direct energy weapons, including lasers that ignite fires.
Power of Icarus. The Western spy runs, but he cannot hide.
Another question I want to ask the government. How the fuck do we have all this money? We're spending all this money on bullshit things, but we can't get planes that drop water like the Canadians have. We had to get help from the Canadians and the Mexicans, yet we shit on them all the time.
How different are these fires from other fires that you have been operating this aircraft in?
The spread was really, really fast. That was really intense on the Palisade fire the first day. The hill we have here, the hill is steeper and higher than what we have in Canada. And in the strong wind we have last week, we have a downdraft much stronger than what we can get in Canada.
We live next to the Pacific Ocean. Why are we not able to get enough water? And even from reservoirs. From my understanding, the Santa Ynez Reservoir, which was meant to be used for the fires, was completely empty.
We knew that there was going to be a high wind event, and our reservoirs at Lincoln Avenue were filled with 10.5 million gallons of water. They were filled to the brim. However, firefighters and homeowners, naturally, who try to use garden hoses to suppress the fires, quickly drained our water sources.
Notice how a lot of the celebrities that live in the area that are extremely connected to the government actually never got touched at all, just like Tom Hanks, for example. Known profound nonce. And you know, I've been mentioning the waters, the aeroplanes, but let's go to technology. We are meant to be living in the best country in the world, yet we don't have the technology to take out fires. Go look at Japan, for example, where they have all these systems on their houses to prevent fires.
2 years ago, a shed in the village burned down, but the fire did not spread as it was extinguished promptly.
And listen, I understand all politicians are controlled, but you have to pick the lesser evil. And Trump is definitely a better leader than Kamala or Biden. And also, you can go back to videos where Trump was telling Gavin Newsom 5 years ago, warning him about the fires here in California.
We're all to do that in California, by the way.
Yes, sir.
California's a mess. We're giving billions and billions of dollars for forest fires in California. There's no reason for those fires to be like they are. They're leaving them dirty. It's a disgraceful thing. Old trees are sitting there rotting and dry, and instead of cleaning it up, they don't touch them. They leave them, and we end up with these massive fires that we're paying hundreds of billions of dollars for to fix, and the destruction is incredible. So I think California ought to get their act together and clean up their forests and manage their forests, because it's disgraceful.
Talking of preventing fires, why are we not using hemp? Go research hemp.
Hemp is at the forefront of this movement. It is the oldest domesticated crop in the world and can be traced back to 8000 BC. Unfortunately, the Marijuana Tax Act of 1937, that was meant to fight the rampant use of drugs, also blacklisted hemp.
And you know, it can act exactly like wood. It can withstand earthquakes and it's extremely fire resistant. We talk about all this sustainability, but why are we not pushing hemp? I can tell you why. Because it doesn't make the government any money. No one really mentions how much money Gavin Newsom has made since being governor, while he sits in his $9 million house, laughing and smiling about all the houses being burnt right now. Another thing that's really fishy about these fires, why has the military been deployed? Can't police do these jobs? Why has the military been deployed to stop people from going back to their homes? There's definitely something strange going on right there.
We have 1,680 soldiers and airmen currently employed in this emergency. Over 1,000 are currently manning traffic control points 24/7. every day.
So many images of arsonists being caught trying to set fires to our city. These arsonists should face 10 years in jail minimum. Speaking to a lot of my friends that are electricians, I've also come to find out that smart meters are extremely flammable too.
Amazing information to hear for one Ontario homeowner after coming home to find this.
Saw the meters fully engulfed in flames when I came in.
His concerns come from the recall of more than 5,000 smart meters in Ontario in 2015 by the Electrical Safety Authority after several fires in Saskatchewan were thought to have been caused by a specific model of meter. Several videos of similar fire situations can be found online, but Hydro One says they have never installed that model and that smart meters are safe.
For example, a lot of the houses that didn't go up into flames did not have smart meters. And the ones that went up into flames pretty quickly did have smart meters. So let me break it down very easy for you guys. We needed space and we needed money. So we used HARPs and DEWs to be able to create fires so then we can clear up space, get resources, blame climate change when it's really weather modifications. And you know, you have liberals running around saying it's down to climate change when really it's their own government attacking them. So yeah, guys. Chemtrails, which is barium and aluminium, which is extremely flammable, plus HARPs, plus DEW equals fires. Fires equals damage, equals money back to Gavin Newsom and his big plans of building the next step of LA. And I also do have a deeper video on chemtrails coming out. And to all these blue-pilled people that can't see the truth when it's right in their face, if you think all these multiple fires are starting in California coincidentally, then it's time for you to fucking wake up. Stay informed and stay vigilant. Guys, make sure you're following me on Rumble, on YouTube, at The Real Natch and at The Natural Effect Podcast. And I'll see you guys next time.